I have been with my girlfriend for about 2 years. The other day while talking, babies came up and she made a joke about getting pregnant, and when I said, "You can't because of birth control," she said she had stopped taking it. I thought she was still joking at first, but she said she wasn't. She told me she hadn't taken birth control in 2 weeks and we had sex multiple times in that 2 weeks, including the night before. I didn't really comprehend the weight of her actions until a couple days later when I had time to myself and it all caught up with me. Immediately after her telling me, I was a little shocked, but I wasn't extremely upset, and I really can't explain why. She did tell me something about having just had her period, and so when we had sex it was very unlikely she'd get pregnant. Even if true, I know this doesn't make it okay, but it might have calmed me down in the moment. Also, I do love this woman. I have always wanted her to have my kid. So the idea that might happen wasn't so terrible at first. After she told me, we ended up in bed and having sex again. Obviously this time I didn't come inside her. We were lying in bed and I asked her, "Why did you do it? Why did you quit taking it?" She said that she wanted purpose in life, that she was testing God, the universe, whatever, because she didn't even know if she was able to get pregnant anymore. Now here is where some backstory is necessary. Before I met her, I had been praying to God day and night to bring me a partner who would make me better and I'd make them better. Someone who could help me with my growing business and bring joy to my life. Then I met her. And it was all very magical. It seemed divine. She ended up working with me on my business. We were together every day and things moved fast. 6 months into this, I fired her from helping me. I realized early on that she was probably kind of spoiled as a kid because she had very bad work ethic and would get defensive when corrected and a very hard time being wrong in any capacity. She also did not show up on time once in those 6 months. There were other issues too. In the beginning, she talked herself up in ways that made me think she could match my ambitious energy. She said she vaped, which I hated, but said she wanted to and was going to quit. 6 months in, she hadn't quit. Every time I brought it up, she'd get angry at me and say it just wasn't a priority right now. Yet, she takes sleeping pill to sleep and can't wake up till noon. She takes ADHD meds and can't focus. Not hating on ADHD meds, I also take them and have ADHD. Vaping only adds to insomnia and attention issues. I want a happy, healthy life, and she was not showing me she gave a damn about that for herself. To sum up all the issues, it always seemed like she thought she could just live in all her BS while enjoying the energy of someone in her life who had no BS. I told her from the start if this was her plan, it would just backfire and take us both down. It did. I got so depressed eventually because I was telling her I need her to live healthy and come back and help me with business and build this good life together and take things seriously. I told her we needed to have serious talks about goals and plans. It would never happen. I fell back into drug use because my business was still growing this whole time and I was being consumed by it. I fell into a very dark place. I ended up getting a therapist. I was praying to God for signs and ended up doing ketamine therapy. I had a very significant and what I thought to be a very spiritual ketamine experience that left me thinking this woman, despite all the issues, was actually the one for me. During this time we started communicating better and I realized it wasn't all just her, that I had my own issues likely stemming from childhood trauma that contributed to problems in my life and my relationship with her. I talked with someone wise I respect who told me everything this woman had been trying to tell me for over a year at that point. That I have so much emotion trapped inside me that I can't even feel or understand because I've grown to be so numb to it in order to survive. That I am fighting parts of myself in my girlfriend that I am afraid of. All these things that my girlfriend had said to me, but I couldn't hear her either because of how she said it or because I created this image of her in my head that she was just a person whose words meant nothing and who had no real understanding of life. This period of my life left me respecting her a lot more, and it made me realize she has a major potential to even me out, to love me in a way that enables me to be the better man I know I can be. It left me loving her more than I've ever loved anyone. I no longer cared about her helping me with my business. I learned to embrace some of her flaws and loved her anyways. I was okay with her being her and me being me and seeing that we could still love each other and be good for each other. This did eventually start to fade when she continued not showing up in regard to talking about life goals/plans, and not showing discipline and ambition for living a healthier life. But we were just starting to make progress on this when this baby trap thing happened. So a couple days later, while alone and thinking, I realized how messed up this really was. She had zero concern for my life, or hers. It was the most selfish thing she could do. When I first heard her say she wanted purpose and to test God, I was actually kind of surprised in a good way. Because it's so rare for her to take action or to involve God in anything she does. I realize that's so screwed up, but I've been dying to see her to do that with anything. Obviously never expected it would be something like this, and this pleasantly surprised feeling was short-lived. Once I realized how careless she had been, the anger set in. I needed a better explanation of why she did it. Needing purpose and testing God explained nothing. I asked her again, and she said she had forgot to take her pill one day, and she kind of just had all the needing purpose and testing God stuff under the surface unconsciously. And so she just forgot about the birth control altogether. She said it wasn't a conscious decision. She said she wasn't thinking about it during sex, only after sex, and she'd feel terrible about it. I have tried asking her many times since why she did it, explaining to her that this explanation makes no sense and makes her look like a terrible person who lies to get out of trouble and avoid accountability. She doubles down on it every time. She said this experience has revealed to her some of her own selfish coping mechanisms, and her tendency to disassociate from things when depressed/stressed. When I interpret it all as a BS excuse and get harsh telling her to tell the real truth or I'm leaving, she falls apart with these guttural cries from the depths of her soul that make me feel so freaking bad for her, but then I'm afraid to show any compassion because I'm now wondering if this is all part of some narcissistic act to keep me where she wants me. But then I feel bad for thinking that because I love her and the thought of her actually having some real issues that could have led to all this and her finally recognizing this and wanting to heal, that breaks my heart too. I'm completely lost. I don't know what to do. Before I ever met her, I had become a very cold and detached guy, like I can be very nice, but at the end of the day I don't attach to anyone. I've been screwed over a lot in my life and it left me trusting no one. This girl has managed to soften that armor, and I finally was starting to think that was a good thing for me. But now this happened and I feel myself reverting back to the Tin Man with no heart for anyone or anything. I feel I should also mention that this girl has not had it easy. She was raped at 17 right before her dad passed away. This seemed to lead to a lot of bad sexual decisions while seeking validation. Her house burned down, then her brother passed away unexpectedly. She's been depressed for a long time and has trauma issues just like me. This is another reason I am even entertaining the idea that this might be trauma-related and maybe she isn't just some evil person. 'Cause I have also done stupid things because of trauma. I went on vacation for a week earlier this year and spent the entire week on dating apps while telling my GF I missed her/loved her. I wasn't lying to her, I regretted not bringing her, but I felt so unheard and disregarded because of her not taking the relationship seriously. I was just reaching for any type of real connection. I didn't end up hooking up or anything, just texted via app to one person for an hour. I know this is nothing compared to baby trapping, but I understand doing crazy things because of emotional pain.